Hey guys, I'm the Nostalgia Kid. I remember it, and you should too. Hey guys, so I'm finally doing something that I've been wanting to do for a while now. The only reason I haven't done it before is because I feel like a lot of other YouTubers do it, at least on a regular basis. But I'm doing this new little series, which I'm want to say is going to be my main series now on the channel, just because I have been missing a lot of anime. Now, I'm going to be calling this series Review Roundup, where basically I'm going to be taking a handful of anime, and over the course of like 10 minutes or so, I'm going to be talking about an entire cluster of anime, usually in the same genre, and we're going to be talking about Isekai. Now, what is Isekai? Well, the proper Japanese definition of it, I believe, just means from another world. And basically, Isekai anime are just different anime out there that are about characters who wind up going to another world. Either they get reborn into it, or they get teleported to it through magic, or they get trapped in like a virtual world, something along those lines usually. Also, before we go any further with this video, I want to make it clear I am not doing this list in any particular order. All the anime on this list are either ones I really, really like or ones I really, really can't stand, and that have, in my opinion, been a sin to the anime world for quite a while. With all that said, let's get on with this video. Okay, now, the first anime I'm going to talk about would have to be... I'm probably going to butcher the name. There's some complicated Japanese name, but... Tanya the Evil? Something along those lines. I'll probably put the... I'll put the, like, the poster or whatever in this very next scene, but basically it's about a character who is a regular Japanese businessman, dies in our world, but then gets reborn as a little girl in another world. And in this other world, there's actually magic. Well, part of the reason why this character was sent to this other world is right before he died, God was basically like, hey, if you just acknowledge me, I'll save you right here, right now. No harm, no foul. You'll have a traumatic hospital experience, but you'll be alive. And the character is like, no, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in you. I don't even think you really are God. Then he just refers to him as being X. And then when he goes to this other world, a handful of times, as he's just living his life in this other world, well, he also winds up joining the military and becomes a very good military fighter using magical abilities and regular weapons in this world. And more than a few times, God, or Being X, as the main character refers to him, is like, hey, I'll help you out. All you have to do is pray to me. I'll help you. And then he's like, no. And then he winds up being able to get out of the situation, or things wind up getting better to a certain degree. And as the series goes on, it's like pretty much a whole world war is eventually closing in on this main character, all as one attempt for God to just make this one character believe in him. It's like, on one hand, I feel like this is something God wouldn't want to do, but it also sounds like something God would do. So it's really crazy, and I just love that aspect. And I just love that it's such a jaded human being who doesn't believe in God to the point where he's allowing a war to happen around him. Okay, now after that amazing praise of Tanya the Evil, I am finally going to talk about RE0, an anime that I feel like is the most overhyped anime out there since Sword Art Online. Now, this anime, I don't like anything about it. It's like, I think I got almost 20 episodes in before I finally gave up on it. Well, I think it was 2015 or 20. Relatively early on, which I can't even believe I'm saying that, because I don't know. I just don't like Art. I did say the name. The name of this anime is RE0. And I don't like the main character. I don't like any of the side characters. There's no real overarching story. The main character is being controlled by some kind of either curse or something that constantly brings him back to life at some kind of unusual respawn point. It's not clear why he was brought to this world. It's not clear what he's supposed to do in this world. He has no real character progression outside of his relationship with these other characters who I feel like are completely worthless. He has no real journey other than getting closer to these characters. I don't know. I feel like it's a slice of life anime. I feel like it's like if somebody grabbed the script from a slice of life anime and we're like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna work. And they're like, hey, let's turn it into an isekai. Great idea. And I feel like that's what they did here. I mean, I know that there's probably an entire manga out there where this whole thing is written out and stuff. I understand that, and I understand there's probably a lot of work that's gone into this. But I feel like this is something, I don't know. Even though I'm sure there's a reasoning behind so many things in this anime. But I don't know. I got as far into it as I could, and I just didn't see myself gravitating to the characters. The main character really doesn't have much of a hero's journey, and I don't know. I just don't care enough. And I'm almost 20 episodes in, so. Okay, this next anime I'm talking about is Wise Man's Grandchild. Now, this anime, I'll be honest, it really is pretty good. In a lot of ways, it's pretty average and run of the mill, but I feel like it's also every reason why I like isekai or anime like it, and I don't like anime like RE0. Basically, in Wise Man's Grandchild, it's about a very nameless like Japanese person who dies in a horrible train accident. What a coincidence! And then is immediately reborn into another world where there's magic. Yes, yet again. But he is adopted by an elderly couple who then raise him as their grandchild. And there's a lot of heartfelt moments, and you get to see this character have a full-fledged progression from like being 5 and 10 years old, living with his grandparents, to him as like basically an adult, learning magic and fighting for his kingdom or whatever kind of stuff, and then seeing how ridiculously powerful he is. And that's kind of, this anime is kind of also the reason why I kind of changed my tune on Isekai, even though it is a very basic storyline. But I don't know. I guess you could say this is also why I like this one instead of RE0. In RE0, the main character has no progression. He has no main storyline. He has no connection to this world or this universe. And he has no real stakes other than getting to go out with some girl. And I don't know. I'm just saying that's why I like Wise Man's Grandchild. Criminally, I want to say it's criminally under unknown, and definitely worth watching. So check it out whenever you get a chance. Now this next one, like, this one is kind of hard to decide whether I should talk about, but I don't know. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. Now, first off, that title does not like attract me at all, and I don't know. I mean, it's not a bad anime. I mean, all in all, it's not a bad anime. Basically, yet again, it's another character where he gets he gets reborn into another world, but this time as a little slime, little ball of slime, and he's just having a little adventure in this world. It's like the most simplest explanation for this story ever. He used to be a businessman in Japan. Yes, yet another businessman. And now he's just a little ball of slime. He gets powers, and as time goes on, he actually learns how to transform his body into an actual person body. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't know. It's not bad, but I don't know. I just feel like there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's not the most amazing anime out there, but it's an anime. Okay, now this next one is, and I have to, you have to, if you're going to talk about Isekai, you have got to talk about Konosuba. Now, this next anime I'm talking about would have to be Konosuba. Another isekai where the main character dies, reborn into another world, but this time he's born. Well, he's not really reborn. He's just like teleported, and like this is just it's one massive parody of the entire isekai genre. And the best part about this isekai is all the characters are basically just over exaggerated characters, and they're just it's ridiculous, it's hilarious, it's everything. This is one of the best and it's actually a pretty solid isekai because the main character, who I believe is just called Subaru. Don't want to sound offensive here. He actually is having a little bit of a story progression. He actually is like learning new abilities. So I feel like there's an entire avenue they easily could have taken to make this a serious isekai, and at very least make it halfway decent, like Wise Man's Grandchild. But instead, they decided, you know what, like this, let's make this a comedy parody, because it's just I don't even it's ridiculous in every amazing way, and if you haven't seen it, watch it, either subtitled or dubbed. The dubbed is really funny too. It's like they're both like it is a 100% amazing recommendation. This next one. So I'm a spider now. It's literally the title. I mean, I feel like, oh god darn it. It's like, oh god, I don't know. It's an isekai. It's an isekai where a character is somehow born into the body of a monster spider. And that's literally it. There's nothing really more I can say. I mean, yeah, they're surviving, they're trying to learn how to live in this body, and they have some friends who were born into humans and even into other creatures, but they have no idea where they are, they don't know what happened, they don't know how things are going. So, that's it. Now, this next one, a furu of something something. That's the best I can. But basically, the shorthand version of this one is from worlds, from complicit to world's strongest. Basically, this one's about more of like, it's not about an individual character, it's about an entire class that somehow is teleported to another world, and now they are supposedly the alleged heroes that have to save the world. But one day on an adventure, one of the characters gets screwed over and gets stuck at the deepest part of a dungeon and has to basically fight their way out, and goes through an amazing journey. It's just incredible. In a lot of ways, it's yet another situation of like a character that have to go on a journey, but they are really beaten to heck. And honestly, they're like scary by the time that they leave, and they are very jaded. Just I actually really like the approach. Just because, usually it's like the character would be a little bit more lighthearted. It's like no, he doesn't even like try. And the second he gets out, he doesn't even try to find his friends again. He just continues living his life because the person who actually screwed him over was a member of his party, somebody who he called friend, somebody who he probably helped, somebody who he thought he could trust, and they betrayed him. And it's like it's very entertaining. Supposedly it wasn't very accurate to the manga, but still the anime is very good. Okay, this next one is Gigabit. Now this one I wanted to like it more than what I did, but it's not really bad, but it's also not the greatest. It's just another middle of the road one where I feel like you could have taken like half of the story, done something, but it wouldn't have been as good. But instead, they combined it with this whole other storyline and decided to just go nuts with it. So I'll give them that. It's definitely out there in terms of story, but in terms of execution, it could have been better. I don't know. I feel like they should have just gone with one or the other. And what do I mean by that? Well, basically, it feels like it's a cross between. Um, this one's kind of more like a reverse isekai, where it's like it involves characters from like the Edo period Japan or Warring States period One of the two. I don't know very much Japanese history outside of like a few anime, so that's obviously not a good example. But basically, handfuls of characters from those time periods wind up in modern day, and for whatever reason, there's also some kind of virus that is turning people into monsters. And there's a scientist chick who is slowly studying the virus and trying to fix it and trying to cure people. But then, and obviously, these people from the Edo period have to help them. So, pretty out there, pretty crazy. I don't know. And there are, it's just, it's trying harder than it needs to. It could have easily gone with, okay, there's like monsters and they're being transformed, and it could have focused in on that aspect, or it could have focused in on this like Edo period, because there are times where it just focuses in on one or the other, and I feel like it's very strong in those aspects. Like when they're talking about the Edo period or Warring States period. Again, I don't know anything about Japanese history, um, and they follow those characters specifically, man. And I occasionally think it's like, huh, this would actually be better if they focused on this right here. Let's see more of that. But then it like fast forwards back to the future, and they're fighting giant flying monsters. And it's like there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like if you're gonna do giant flying monsters, do giant flying monsters. If you want to do an anime about a character about like a samurai that are fighting for themselves and fighting for the future, but then being tossed aside by the Japanese government, do an anime about that. So I don't know. That's just how I feel. Okay, this next one is called Overlord. It exists kind of in both the categories that you may have already clued into, which is either an isekai, it's an amazing, well done anime that could completely divorce itself from the isekai genre, or it's so involved in the isekai genre it can't help but remind you it's an isekai. This one is basically where the main character gets stuck in a virtual game called Overlord, and he was supposed to have like a LAN party with friends, but then and they were all supposed to play the game until the server shut off. But then, right as the clock strikes or the servers is shut off, he is somehow still stuck in the game. But then he realizes as the series goes on, it's not the game and it's not the world he knew, and it's very different. And he comes across a mystery because somebody is using magic that he's never seen before, and then there's this world that he's never known before, and it's really interesting, and it leads to him. The whole series one ends with a pretty epic fight between him and one of his underlings, who I guess I could say got turned against him. And throughout the series, there's another one of his underlings who makes it seem like is going to do a pretty big betrayal. But then series two comes around, and honestly, if I'd seen series two, or if I were to show you series two, and be like, you want to see series one, you probably wouldn't have any more motivation to want to watch this, because I don't know, series two is not bad, but it really shoots itself in the foot, and I feel like really misses the mark compared to series one. Series one was very entertaining and left me wanting more, and really makes you wonder about the character, if he's changing due to the world or due to his character design. But this one, it's like, I don't know, I feel like it really gets lost on itself. It gets too involved in its own world. And there is a series 3, but I have not seen it because, I don't know, series 2 just left a really bad taste in my mouth. I almost feel like you should almost skip series 2 and go right on to series 3. But I haven't done that, I haven't tried that. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to finish watching series 2 and I'll see what I can do about series 3. But still, series 1 really, really good. Series 2, I don't know. Okay, so this last anime I'm talking about is one that it actually took me quite a while to get around to watching. When I finally did, I was really hooked on it. And it's the anime I'm Standing on a Million Lives. Now, this title is never explained, at least in the English version. And yes, I only watched the English version. I have a personal rule about anime that have been out for a little while, and I don't know. I guess I could say I just came in with very low expectations and was pleasantly surprised with actually how well this anime really was. Basically, it is yet another anime, like every other one on this list. Now, honestly, the big thing that separates this anime from a lot of the other ones, at least in my opinion, is all the characters in this anime have different goals. At least all the main characters that are actually all from Japan, basically. Like you have, like you have the main character who you're kind of introduced to very early on. Well, actually, at the very beginning of this series, where I'm just calling him the main character because he is the very typical protagonist s character, to say the least, and basically he really likes this world, and he really, to a degree, wouldn't mind staying in this world or being here. But you have all the other characters who've been in this world for a while, and they just really want all of this to be over, and they want to finish all of this. But at the same time, like I've already said, this like main character guy, he wants to stay here, and they even make it a little bit, make me wonder if he's going to end up turning evil later on, and if he's going to somehow turn into like an enemy the rest have to fight. Then there's actually a weird sequence in the anime where they get a little glimpse of the future, and it shows their team going back to their regular world and saving it. And the main character guy, he's a little bit uncertain if he would want to do that, and doesn't know why he would do that. So it just really like, it's just so, it's playing with so many ideas. It's very entertaining and makes me wonder. Okay, guys, I'm pretty sure that was 10 anime, or 10 isekai in this case, and I think we went a little bit over 10 minutes. It's probably more like 15 or 20. But still, been wanting to do this video for a while. That's all I have to say about isekai. I'm the Nostalgia Kid. I remember it, and you should too.